This is Chicago.
Welcome back to another episode of All for the Love of Chicago. I'm Kristen.
I'm Lisa.
Welcome back, Lisa.
We did it. We haven't seen...
Well, we've seen each other.
We've seen each other, but we haven't been back since we
have not
launched.
been back on this couch and on this podcast since we launched our first 2 episodes.
And it's been awesome.
How you feeling?
I feel great. I mean, we decided to do this, and it's really off the whims of All for the Love of Chicago. And I think people have been really positive about what they've seen and a lot of ideas coming our way. So if you have ideas for us, podcast at tochicago.com. Send us all your ideas.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the feedback has been, I think, overwhelming. And what we wanted to, talk about in this deep dish segment of giving you the deep dish. Everyone loved that, by the way. When I said we're going to kick off every episode with the deep dish, everyone at City Club was like, oh my God.
We're getting into it.
That's so great.
Yes.
That's so Chicago. I love it. So, no, it's been really awesome. The positivity, everyone's like, thank you for doing this. We want to be on it. We want to contribute. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Which is like Lisa said, keep those ideas coming. Podcast at tochicago.com. It's also still February. And still, I think we just wrapped Restaurant Week, but by the time this airs, it'll be just the tail end of Theater Week. So
Yes.
What have you been up to since we've been on the podcast couch lately?
Well, January was the longest.
It's horrible.
Longest
Not horrible,
month.
but it's long, yeah.
No, it is. It's
Yeah,
just
okay,
like a
thank
big
you.
slap in the face of reality. The holidays are over
Yeah.
and all of that. But I think with Mr. Groundhog saw his shadow, correct?
Well, did that surprise anyone? It's freezing out. And there's like, everywhere you look, it's like mayhem, like pile-ups, cars, things like no power. I mean, Chicago at least is just cold because we know how to deal with it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like Nashville, they got a huge storm. A lot of people are getting weather that they're not used to, but for us, we're just like still keeping it.
I saw like Dallas. People are just literally just driving in all directions, driving in circles. Nobody knows. South Carolina, there was like a huge car pile up. And people, especially in the South, they're like, no.
I mean, I feel for them. Do they have shovels?
I don't know. You know what?
Salt?
I remember, no.
Salt that's good for dogs. I mean.
Oh my gosh. My poor dogs
I
in the
know.
little salt paws. I mean, it's a
thing.
Okay, so we're just into the deep dish about the weather, right? Because it's winter in Chicago.
Yes.
I mean, it's winter everywhere. But it's my first winter in Chicago. And that's been, I think, one of the biggest challenges is like my dogs trying to figure out, especially my little Yorkie, like what goes on his paws. I've bought every kind of.
So awkward.
Every
Poor
kind of.
dogs.
I bought the rubber ones. No. I bought the little Velcro ones. No. I bought the walkie paws, which is like the Shark Tank. They're like leggings that strap.
Like little stirrups. I've
need-
seen those.
You need an engineering degree to learn how to put this on the dog, first of all. I'm like, it takes me, by the time I've got 25 minutes, the dog's already peed, like everything's happened. And then he can't lift his leg because I've got him too tight and they don't work.
The best is when you see people just walking back with their dog, carrying it like
I fully
a little
carry
young
my dog.
baby.
I carry him. I put him down. He does his business. I pick him back up at this point.
You have to. But so going back to that little groundhog, which is such an odd holiday.
I love it.
It's
It's on my bucket list.
Groundhog's Day. Well, I put daylight savings time on my calendar. We're almost there. We're almost there.
Have you ever wanted to go to Puxatawny and see? It's on my bucket, but it's early. I don't know that I would want to wake up that early. I'm not a morning person, so.
No, I just think they like hold him up and the groundhog's like freaking out and he sees his shadow.
Also one of the best movies ever.
True, with Bill Murray, who is I think he's like a self-identified Chicagoan.
He is. I hear about it. People see him everywhere. He goes to Bears games.
Yes.
You know where I saw him recently, like this past summer? I didn't see him, but I saw him on social media at one of my favorite hangouts, which is Robert's Pizza.
Yes.
Right on the canal there.
Yeah.
Apparently Bill Murray hangs out there.
Yeah.
Me and Bill.
He's a Chicago treasure.
Groundhog's Day. It all comes full circle. Yeah. Can I just speaking about Groundhog's Day. So 6 more weeks of winter.
Yes.
Fine. We're already into it.
What have you been doing?
I have been trying to stay warm, right? So, the thing is I live downtown. And so remembering that downtown life means you walk everywhere.
Yes.
So for me to go anywhere, I'm not like in my car driving like I used to be in New York. Like a lot of, if you're in the suburbs, you drive. Me, no. I want to exercise. I want to go to everywhere. I'm walking. Okay. So here's an observation I noted. When I first moved here, it was summer. And I live in a very touristy area. I live downtown. Tourists everywhere.
Yes.
People.
And we love them.
We love them. Thank you.
Keep
Visit
coming.
55 million visitors a year. Thank you. But tourists and Chicagoans alike, my first observation as a New Yorker coming here was like, well, some slow walkers. People are just dilly-dallying. A lot of dilly-dallying.
Yes.
And I'm trying to get somewhere. I got that like New York pace. And I was kind of like, okay, it's a different, level of walking in Chicago. People take their time. Okay. Then fast forward to winter. Let me tell you who knows how to walk in winter. Chicagoans.
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting clocked.
You got to go faster. You got to
on the roads. I'm like,
and you got to dodge.
The Chicagoans 100% know how to walk fast and how to get someplace with a purpose in the winter. There's no messing around. Boom. They're like lightning, like passing me like I'm parked.
Speaking of parked, can we talk about the phenomenon that is dibs in
Yes.
Chicago? And so
I didn't know about this till you.
So for those of you who don't know, there's a thing in Chicago called dibs. And when you shovel out your spot on the street, right, when it's covered in snow, people will put like a lawn chair, a cone saying like, I have dibs on that. It's mine. And it is
sacred
law.
Right.
Like my old neighbor used to put a car seat there, but people get really creative with what they put there. And I love it. Like it can get,
and nobody takes it. Like it's honored. It's honorable.
Yes. So you have to save your spot. And sometimes people will like dig out 2 spots and they'll call dibs.
Yeah. I did not know about that. You said something to me when I first got here. You're like, oh, wait till dibs. I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. But it's like part of the life. But you know what? Been going out, been going to restaurant week, went to one of my faves, Valari. Wonderful restaurant week. Another iconic place that you and I went together, Gene and Georgetti's.
Yes.
I had never been there.
Classic Chicago.
So awesome. We were there for lunch, restaurant week. And then we're like, should we stay? And, like it was like 2.
I was like, I could justify
we were like
staying and getting a lot of work done. I mean, a lot of people were done with the work
bellied
day.
up.
Yes, they
bellied up. I mean, that's maybe the winter. Just like, you know what? Whatever you need to do to get. I
appreciated being on the same wavelength as you for that.
Yeah.
But no, alas, we did not.
We didn't. We went back to work.
Okay, so I last weekend went to a really great cocktail bar, Cozy Cocktail Chicago, Meadowlark. And so it has a very nondescript little like lark sign outside of the front, and you go in and you have to wait. There's no reservations, but I think it's every 8 weeks they switch around the theme of these really cool cocktails. Like it's mixology to the max, and it was space themed. So all of the cocktails were cosmic, like the Saturn, the sun,
so cool.
the
Like
Venus.
what neighborhood are we talking?
I think it was in Logan Square. And so it was, Logan Square. And it's all these really great restaurants, but it's super hidden. I've literally walked by this so many times and have never noticed it. So I definitely would add that to your winter bucket list because it was cozy, cute. I think they sit maybe like 25 people.
Oh my gosh.
You can only be there for 2 hours.
Oh.
Yes.
You don't need to drink super fancy cocktails for longer than that.
Yeah.
Get out.
But it was great.
I love that. This is some really great deep dish. I think, I learned about the pace. It's just the reason I think people are just, enjoying the summer, walking at a slower pace, because now I'm going to be that person. Now I get it. Like, why are you in a hurry? It's summer. Enjoy it. You're outside.
Yes.
In the winter is when you go fast. In the summer is when you chill
You gotta get
and walk
inside.
around.
The wind chill is no joke.
We made it through the Arctic blast.
Yes. But you never know what happens.
I'm scared. But it's
they
like
say March comes in like a lion. So I'm just
what? Let me live, Lisa. But as somebody said, like it's like 29 degrees today. Like it's like spring compared to what we've been through.
I mean,
it's like I feel like it's spring weather. In fact, I tried to wear a dress earlier that had my legs out, and I'm like, too soon.
No, well,
I
will say, as soon as the weather hits like maybe 50, people will start with the shorts.
Oh, after I get it. After being like negative, whatever, 50 feels, it's like 70. It's all relative. You know, I was talking to my door guy the other day. I was leaving and I was like, it's a beautiful day. He's like, it's over 20 and sunny. It's all you can ask for. I'm like, is it? Okay. It's all you set your standards.
So what other things have you not done on your winter bucket list?
I haven't done anything on my winter bucket list.
Okay.
Just so you know.
We have some time thanks to that little groundhog.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess Chicagoans, tell us what you think I should do. I think, so I did theater week we talked about.
Yes.
So I did check that off my list. I went to one of the best shows. I took my daughters. I've seen Phantom of the Opera a couple of times because I'm old and it was like an old, Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's like a classic.
Yes.
I hadn't seen it in a long time. We were going to go see it in New York, but as soon as they announced it was leaving Broadway, everyone lost their minds and tickets went through the roof. And so I didn't get to see it. And here it is. It's in Chicago. I think it'll be gone by the time this airs, I think, unfortunately. But that's the thing, is you got to get in. You can't delay on these shows.
Yeah.
Went and saw it, and they've like revamped it a little bit. First of all, Cadillac Theater.
Beautiful.
Loved it. Amazing, like super comfortable seats, gorgeous theater, fantastic acoustics, the whole thing. But they've like updated Phantom, made it a little bit like more, not Bridgerton,
Oh.
but like cool, like updated. And I think what they're going to do is take it back to Broadway is what I heard with some of the updates. But it's just such a classic. I'm sitting there with my daughters who are, older now, and I'm like crying because it's like Phantom of the Opera comes on and you're like, and then they're assessing the plot. They're like, okay, sneaky link, Phantom. All right, Christine.
That next
she can't
audience.
I know.
I love that.
Like, oh, but it was great. And then the cool thing about Cadillac Theater, and I don't know if all theaters have this, you can tell me. But you can get like these suite kind of tickets. I think they're like $45, which is not crazy if you think about what you spend on a cocktail or something.
Yeah.
And you can go 45 minutes before the show, and then you go intermission. And so did that, like intermission, snacks, private bathroom.
That's
it right there. That's worth $45 right
key.
there. Just to not stand in line and like miss the whole intermission.
Well, because I was at the Nutcracker this past holiday season, and you cannot get up in the middle of the show to go to the bathroom.
No.
Maybe I just haven't realized these rules. And then you can only go to the bathroom or whatever, go get a snack. And if you are not done by the time they're ready, you can't get back in. You're locked out.
No, you can't.
The rush to the women's bathroom, people were like, go.
Because there's like 3 stalls.
Yes. It was stressful.
No, so that,
I respect the arts.
Just
that
the
was
suite,
stressful.
Get the suite.
Okay.
Get the suite access. You go private bathroom. Okay. Also, speaking of restaurant week and theater week, went to Dearborn before.
Wonderful.
Amazing. Go, and then you just walked right to the theater. It's like a block. It's awesome. So yeah, listen, winter's fine. Just put a coat on, go to a theater, go to a show, go get some dinner. It's been okay.
I love that you did that with your daughters, and I took my kids to Disney on Ice. Take all my money. I am such a sucker.
Yeah.
Like I got the little light up ones. Those were like $35, ching to ching. The Moana snow cones, cha-ching, cha-ching. Phantom of the Opera and Disney on Ice could not be more different.
No, but it's an era. I've been there. I was at the Disney on Ice and Disney Cruise and all that era, and it's amazing. But that's part of life, right? That's why I love that we host this podcast together, because we're at different stages. And and now I'm taking them to Phantom. And
did they have Phantom light up wands there?
They did.
Did they have merch? I love a merch table.
No. And of course they had this cool step and repeat. And I was like, girls, let's get our picture. They're like, no. Oh my God, cringe. And I'm like, okay.
Did they do it though?
No. Oh. I got them like walking by in a blur. I'm like, click.
Come on, Mom.
They're like, post that and die. Like no profile pics.
See,
I know. So no, enjoy the Disney days while they last, because those are magical moments too. That's it. That's the cool thing about, I think we said it in one of the last episodes, you can never be bored in Chicago. If you're bored in Chicago, it's your problem. There are a million zillion things to do every day, all season, all year round.
And the city doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. In this episode, we're talking about what we're loving.
Yes.
And what we're loving this month is Black History Month. So speaking of things to do for Black History Month, a million opportunities to make sure that you celebrate, you immerse yourself in the culture, you educate yourself. And I'm really excited about learning more about what we can do to celebrate this.
Me too. And we have a really great guest who's joining us, Ernest Crim III. And so we're going to get him on in just a few minutes.
Okay, Lisa, I'm so excited because we have a very special guest, our third guest of the podcast. And to talk about Black History Month this week, which kicked off on February 1, we have Ernest Crim III, who is an Emmy-nominated producer and an award-winning educator.
That's right. And he is a native Southsider. He went to U of I. And after teaching high school history for over a decade, he is now an advocate for social justice issues and teaches Black history to the world through social media with platforms that have reached millions of people. Welcome, Mr. Crim.
Hey, thanks for having me, y'all. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're so excited that you're here. And we usually start off, I know this is our third, but we're making it a tradition on our podcast. Since it's called All for the Love of Chicago, we ask every guest, when did you first fall in love with Chicago?
I first fell in love with Chicago, I would say maybe when, I grew up in the 90s. So again, I had the privilege of seeing Jordan. Although I never went to an actual game, but seeing him from, my household, the living room, sharing those experiences with my father growing up and, watching the Bears with him. So I can't give a exact age, but I just think the 90s was a magical time period. And I feel bad for anybody that has not seen that because I'm a Bulls fan above all. And it's been difficult for the past almost 30 years now. That's kind of crazy to say. I mean, the Bears almost, right?
But we're so close.
Almost 40 years. So, the 90s were a magical time. So I would definitely say that whole Jordan era was amazing.
It's amazing how a sports team, though, and a sports franchise can bring a city together and unify and make it feel so electric, though, right? That's what I've been experiencing with the Bears.
Right. I think it's great, too, that we can have these folks that we adopt, like Caleb is from Cali or something like that. And Jordan was from North Carolina, but they're great, right? We know Jordan's the greatest, but I don't think that story is possible anywhere else except for Chicago. So we bring them in and we cultivate them in our unique environment.
Mr. Crim, will you also adopt me because I'm new to Chicago?
We got you.
I know. That's how I feel like I've been adopted too.
You have no choice but to be great now.
Yeah, that's right.
And I always say kids that didn't grow up if you grew up in the 90s in Chicago and you were a kid, you never know. I just remember how different it was. My dad got us gear. Remember of all the animated Bulls players? It was cartoons.
Yeah.
And I wore it as a dress.
Yeah.
That was me.
Well, let me tell you, because now I almost forgot. Let's not forget that, okay, I know it's controversial, but Sammy Sosa was also popular during that time.
Yes.
So the 98, Jordan's last year, we're seeing the shot on Brian Russell. We get to see this home run race with Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, Ken Griffey for a little bit. So that was just a magical time period to be here.
Kids will never know.
Yeah.
I think it's our new era again, though. I think we're here. It's it's coming back.
The Renaissance.
Right? Do you feel that?
I feel it in the air.
Oh, me too.
I'm hoping the Cubs can get back too, because I missed the parade when they won, and I'm still regretting that.
Yeah, we're back.
Well, we're so glad you're here. And I know we talked a little bit about what you do, and I know you have a lot that you're passionate about. So what does your work look like from a day-to-day, and what keeps you grounded in this city?
Yeah, so my work today, I've been working for myself, or I would say the community, for going on 4 years now. I taught for 12 years from 2010 to 2022. And I just kind of had to go with the flow and follow where I was needed the most. I started speaking around 2017, speaking about a hate crime experience I had. And I began to get a lot of requests from that to share what happened. I started making social media videos around that time just because having kids for 45, 50 minutes at a time wasn't enough to share everything I was passionate about. And that just kind of blew up when I started making TikTok. So what happens for me on a regular basis is I have to lay out which of my clients needs their video this week. So I have to prioritize that, right? That's helping pay the bills. I've been blessed enough to be able to work with people that share my passion for history and social justice. So I'm getting compensated to maybe make a video for an organization that's advocating for more representation in teaching, for example, and things like that, or voting rights, for example. And of course, with this being February, my speaking load increases. So I have to make sure, as someone who, not a procrastinator, but someone who likes the urgency of the moment, I have to make sure I schedule things in time so I could pace myself and be ready. So it's, today was content creating, a radio segment, and coming here and then editing some videos. So it could differ every day and every week sometimes.
Thank you for making time for us. We
thank
really
you for
appreciate it.
having
It's a
me.
busy month. And so we're trying to get people to get excited, inspired, and educated on how to celebrate Black History Month. And so you said you're a local Chicagoan, excuse me. What about Chicago is particularly meaningful place to celebrate Black History Month?
I think the story of Chicago is so profound relative to Black History Month because we start with Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable. Outside of the indigenous people who were here, he's regarded as the founder of this city. And this was a place that was not supposed to be a city, as people will tell you. The name itself, Chicago, the indigenous word refers to it smelling, like the environment smell. They say a smelly onion. They had to raise the city for it to be a city. So I think that's a prideful point right there to start with. And I think, of course, as we get to more contemporary times, to know that our country has had one Black president and he was, again, cultivated here.
Absolutely.
So going back to what we said with Jordan, right? He was in Hawaii. I get it. But when he came here, it's when that greatness all came together. So I think there's just so much richness in that. And then if we go back 100 years, Carter G. Woodson, who created Negro History Week, which became Black History Month, he started his organization here in Chicago in 1915. So there's just so much. We are the heartbeat of this country. We're the center of the country.
We sure are.
I love that. And I was just saying, one of the things I love so much about this podcast is that I get to learn so much from all of our guests, including you. But so someone is new, just asking for a friend, to Chicago.
Yeah.
And you want to learn how to immerse yourself in Black History Month, educate yourself, celebrate, and then, just be happy to say, I want to dig in. I want, how do you learn some of these things that you're telling people?
Yeah.
How do you experience it?
A lot of it is just the lived experience, but you get to a point in time, where you have to take a step back and say, what was I really fully immersed in? Because when you grow in an environment, sometimes you don't realize what you have that's available to you. I would tell the folks that are listening, you got to go to the South Side. You got to go to the South and West Side. I'm a far South Side native. I grew up on 128th and Sangamon, West Pullman. And I know how the media can sometimes portray the South Side, but there's so much richness and culture there in the face of the traumas we had to overcome that is just undeniable. I think that if you go to the South Side, for me, especially as, again, West Pullman guy, in terms of food and stuff like that, I'm gonna tell you to go to Harold's.
Yeah.
And I often see, and I got to make this clear because I hate the way Harold's is portrayed on the YouTube streets. And most times these content creators go to the wrong one. I grew up, to me, at one of the best ones. I would say the best. The one on 127th and Halsted. It's when I go back to that neighborhood, it stands out because of the amount of money they've been able to receive over the years. They've been featured in films on Netflix. It's a beautiful establishment and the food is great. I don't eat a lot of that food anymore, though. It's not the best for you, but it's good, right?
Special occasion food.
Special occasion food, right? So if you're starting over there, then you make your way into the inner city. I mean, you have so many places you could visit, like the DuSable Museum of African American History. You could, of course, if you start through Bronzeville, you can just, if you don't want to spend any money, right? You walk down the street and you see the art everywhere, the homage paid to the Great Migration. You're able to go through Ida B. Wells's home. Ida B. Wells, who the anti-lynching crusade, someone who was advocated for the women's right to vote, who, again, not from Chicago, but coming from the South, came here through the Great Migration and was able to build a bigger platform in what she did. So you get to really see just where Chicago, to me, gets its grit from when you go through Chicago and the richness of our culture.
I love that. I'm vibing on this theme that you're giving, not people not from Chicago that come here and find whatever it is inside of them, and Chicago makes them thrive and makes them great. And I think, I want to kind of dig into your thoughts as a history professor, especially because what do they always say about history? If you don't know it, you're bound to repeat it.
Yes.
Right. And I think it's so important right now that we do celebrate history and learn history and understand. And I feel very lucky and privileged to be in Chicago, where we can still celebrate Black history openly and be proud of our diversity and come together as a community. It's not like that everywhere right now. So just general thoughts on that. It's important this month, right?
Oh, yeah. This is the 100th year celebration. That's one thing, of course, that's important to bring up. And like I said before, the organization that led to the creation of it was founded here. And you think Carter G. Woodson, who was from West Virginia, based in D.C. for a while, he came here. They had a Lincoln Jubilee celebration for the 50th year anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation and like the abolishment of slavery. That convening that he had with 4 other gentlemen in the Black community, one of them, Cleveland Hall. We know the Cleveland Hall branch on the South Side. Like even the libraries are historic too. He was a well-known doctor in the community that advocated for Black folks. Worked at the first integrated hospital in the country, Provident. Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, who of course the first successful open heart surgery in the country, was here in Chicago. So the Cleveland Hall branch library that was named after this Black man here who helped create this organization. That was the first fully functional library on the South Side of Chicago. And you think about just the richness of that in terms of what we talk about with Black history. There was an educator, her name escapes me and I hate it, but in the 1940s, she created one of the first African-American studies curriculums to be adopted in a large school district. And that was here in Chicago as well. So we get to look back and see how far we've come, and we look in this moment and see how far we have to go. But just like you said, there is no other place I would rather be than this environment with our city and our state, because we know that we have people in power who I feel like they really have our best interests in mind and are trying to protect us, because the things that we know that are great about America reside in the people, in the various cultures, and our ability to celebrate them and be willing to learn from them. Because if we are kept from each other, we know that is usually used in a nefarious way to divide the country as a whole.
Yeah, it's a crazy time out there. And one of the things, again, I think I'm looking so forward to, and I think the timing could not be more perfect, is the opening of the Obama Presidential Center, which they're calling, of course, the Home for Hope. I mean, what better time, the 250th anniversary of the Declaration and Signing of Independence, that's opening in June. What are you excited about it? What do you think it's going to do, not only for Chicago, but specifically for the South Side?
Yeah, when you think about that symmetry right there, 250 years, it's opening up. I'm not sure if they planned it strategically that way, but it landed that way, right? Yeah. It works well. The 100 years of Black History Month. And you think about, again, the framing and how the South Side is normally shown. I think this all works together to counter those misconceptions and those narratives. So I think, of course, it's going to drive a lot of money to the South Side, a lot of tourism. It's going to drive a lot of business growth. It's going to invigorate neighborhoods and hopefully lead to more investment in neighborhoods that have been lacking it for a while. And again, I think it's very important too, when we think about what made Obama and what allowed him to become that first Black president and, one of the most memorable presidents of our time, is the organizing he did with people on the South Side. So when we think about folks being elected, we have to always remember it's the grassroots people who came together, who knocked on the doors, he's one person. So there were so many people that allowed that to come to fruition. And there are a lot of people who allowed this center to come to fruition as well. And I'm just, very hopeful and optimistic that it will lead to sustained growth in their community and that people who live there now can benefit from it.
We can't wait. I mean, I think globally, people are so excited to visit right when it opens, and we're excited that it's going to extend people's time in the South Side. And speaking of inspiring travel, what do you hope visitors that come to Chicago leave with?
I think the best way to answer this question is to kind of just mentally go through my feed on Threads. For people who don't know, Threads is like Meta's version of Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it. Oftentimes I log on to Threads and I see people who are from out of town who are amazed at just how beautiful this city is. And I think, again, because it speaks to the importance of just diversity and multiculturalism as a whole. If you go based on how we're depicted, then you probably would think it's a horrible place to be. But when you come here and you get to really experience what it's like, you fall in love with it. Because for anybody that has been to New York and LA, you understand how they exist on polar opposites. To me, Chicago is an amalgamation of what makes both of those cities great with our own unique personalities, right? Because we have that big city feel, but we also have that down south type vibe where we treat people, with genuine respect and things like that. So I think that when you come here, you get to really pull from that and understand just what makes us a great city.
I love that. And that's what I have found in Chicago is just this incredible community, very welcoming. I like you said the word grounded. It's true. As we wrap up this Black History Month interview, one thing I think is always important to say that we don't just celebrate Black history in February, but it is a great opportunity to shine a light and to make sure that there's a focus. So what do you want to leave people with, this month and make sure people take away from this?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you said, that this is something that should be celebrated all year round. I think it's a great time to even talk about what Carter G. Woodson intended. Carter G. Woodson did not say, because it started off as 1 week, and that week was Lincoln's birthday and it was Frederick Douglass's assumed birthday because he didn't know when he was born, but he chose February 14th because his mom referred to him as his little Valentine. So he chose that week. He didn't say just celebrate it 1 week. He said, let's come together and talk about how we have been celebrating our history and learning about it throughout the whole year. So if you can imagine, it's almost like if you are preparing for maybe a stage play, you don't just go over your lines the day you record. You are preparing for that all year round. So I think it's important for us to say, the Museum of Science and Industry, again, the South Side, they have the Black Creativity exhibit, and it's not just 1 month, right? You can go, and it's an amazing exhibit to go to. You go all year round. The DuSable doesn't just have things up, in February. My brother Dilla isn't just doing bus tours in February, right? You can watch my videos, right? I can teach lectures and consult companies, but not just in February. So I think it just speaks to again, this is when the spotlight is here, but it's a reminder that not just that we celebrate all year round, but that we pay close attention to the issues that have affected us that still have not been resolved as well too.
Thank you for that. And you were saying to us how great it is that all these people not from Chicago kind of came and found their reason, their purpose here and thrived here. And it's so welcoming. You can be a Chicagoan. Right. But you can't say.
Yeah, you can't be from the suburbs though. So it's a weird thing. And we have to come together as a committee to really talk about what we mean by this, because you could theoretically be born and raised somewhere else, come here after college, do something great. And it's okay, yeah, you're a Chicagoan now, right? We were talking about the Pope. I think he spent a great deal of time in, but as soon as he became the Pope, oh, no, he's from Chicago.
I don't even think you need to do anything great. You could live in Brooklyn, move to Chicago, and then just be a Chicagoan and no one would question that. But if you live in
oh no.
You're not. What is Chicago? I don't know. We don't make the rules.
It's just something as soon as you cross those city lines, it's something about the experiences that you have to have, whether it be CPS, whether it be the CTA, whether it be taking the L train or, it's just so much that cannot be quantified if you're right out. You could be Chicago, but no. What does your address say?
Yeah. People have been so kind to me. They're like, you're a Chicagoan now, you're family, 5 months in. I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I'm like, my husband's from Chicago. They're like, where? I'm like, not from Chicago.
Oh, no.
They're immediately,
no.
That. They're like, no, it doesn't count. And I'm like, oh, okay.
But I think too, with you, you're actively contributing, to Chicago. So when you do that, it kind of gives you some leeway. We can go down the line. We can say people like Oprah, she's from the South, but she's a Chicagoan.
Yeah,
come on now.
She is.
Phil Jackson, you're Chicagoan, dude. Come on, Sammy Sosa, but
But not.
But
if you're from.
Not if you were born and raised in. You could have worked here for 50 years.
I don't
make the rules. You could have been. I don't make the rules. It was just I was born into this culture, and that's what they told me. So for everybody listening, I went to Morgan Park. I'm a Chicagoan. That's proof right there.
Yeah, well, when this airs, I want everyone to weigh in on why this is the way that it is.
Yeah,
but
let's take a poll.
truth.
Like, what do you guys think? I want to hear.
That's
Asking for a friend.
Oh, like right now? Oh, well, you put me on the spot. I mean, I think a lot of it might be, honestly, Chicago gets overlooked so much for things. I think that we have a chip on our shoulder. So it's okay. I'll even give you the example of being like a hip hop fan, like New York, and not even just hip hop, everything. They just want to be the center.
Yeah.
Like every movie is set there, every like TV show set there. Like hip hop was like 20 years, just everybody was from there. So it's like when we get our opportunity, we want credit. And we don't want you to like act like, I mean, because even right now on the Bulls, Mateus, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's from a suburb, but he plays for the Bulls now, but he's contributing to the enrichment of Chicago.
There it is.
So he's technically a Chicagoan.
You have to contribute to the enrichment.
To the enrichment of Chicago. And you can't,
very complicated.
you can't turn your back on us though either. That's the thing, because we don't go for that, because LA and New York think they everything, but it's really us.
So what is that saying? It's like LA is all.
They think they're Hollywood.
What's that saying? It's like LA is all hype, New York is talk, Chicago's work.
Oh yeah.
Someone said that.
Yeah.
I think it was you.
Yes. And I think it's like some director.
Trademark that.
What's one thing though that you wish people knew about Chicago more? Because we talk a lot about Midwest nice, that there's like, you put your head down, get to work. And that definitely has evolved over the years with innovation and all of that. But like, what is one thing that if you could correct everyone and say, no, Chicago is known for this, what would it be?
I would say that the thing that most people probably don't realize about Chicago and Chicagoans in general, I kind of alluded to this, but I think there's an element of that Southern hospitality that you don't normally get from a big city, especially like in, the Northern Midwest. And for anybody, I mean, when you really think about where we are in the Midwest too, I don't know if anybody's been on road trips around here. I'm just saying, once you leave this area, it's very clear that there's no city like Chicago. Been on road trips with my family, and I remember like stopping for some pizza, and I'm not sure what I was thinking. I just assumed.
Yeah.
I just assumed, but like, you're not getting great pizza in Kentucky.
You're like no.
It's just, and I think that, I mean, of course, no place like, I think what's great about Chicago is we try to figure it out.
Yeah.
I think we try to figure it out. I think that's reflective of like the political landscape now. I think it's reflective of, again, how we contributed to electing and helping organize and build a platform for some of the great political leaders, such as Barack Obama, for example. You think about Kara Mosley Braun being a black woman who was a senator. I mean, there's just so many things like that. And when you talk about the environment, you have to, like, you can have a seed, like a seed planted in the soil, but it's not going to grow unless it's in the proper environment.
Oh, I love that.
That's it right there. So
I love that. You just
Chicago figures it out.
we figured it out.
Cultivates too. Cultivates the seedling.
And if you didn't have a considerable amount of time within those city lines, those artificial lines that we draw, then you won't grow properly.
So in short, no, I was like,
we love the suburb. I love the suburb.
Yes,
please come.
Oh, I do too.
Please come. Our neighbors in the suburbs. We love you, but don't say you're from Chicago.
Yeah.
But you could be a Chicagoan as long as you move here and contribute to the
and all love and respect. I mean, it's a lot of suburban in me in terms of I like getting away for a second, But like I think we have to be clear on even. The committee has to decide at what point in your life that you have to live here to be considered a Chicagoan versus not, I think that's important. But again, any suburbanite that contributes to the enrichment of Chicago, they can get like a pass a little bit.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I like
we'll
this.
Take it.
All right. So talk amongst yourselves. Let us know what you think. So tell our listeners how they can find your videos all year round, how they can follow you, and make sure that we do stay focused on this every day of the year.
Yeah, so I'm actually coming off an Instagram ban. So, but I'm on Instagram.
Don't we all?
I'm a little hesitant to even, I'm there, but at Mr. Crim III. So as a teacher, MR Crim is CRIM. That's one M. So many people put two, which is one M. Crim number 3. But really follow me on Substack because like I can get your email. That's Crim's Class. I'm also everywhere on TikTok too. I'm on pretty much every single app now. Probably except for X. I just stopped posting. So, but you can find me everywhere, even YouTube. But my preferred platform It's Instagram when I'm there, and Substack as well.
Well, I love it. You want to give a shout out to your merch that you're wearing?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Shout out to my brother from college, U of I, my guy Spencer. This is his clothing line right here. It's called The Shy is Elite. And I mean, to me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the one that created it, but I just think it's beautiful in how, especially in this climate, we're talking about how great D Rose is and was with his jersey retirement. And there's kind of that reflection of that right here. So it's a reflection of how great Chicago is. And I think, too, how often we get overlooked. So you can find that just by, I think if you Google it, The Shy is Elite, it'll pop up. And yeah, that's my brother, Spencer Brown. Shout out to him.
Well, thank you for that and for bringing us all this incredible knowledge and very positive energy. We love having you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mr. Crim.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
That was such a great interview.
You know what? It was. And one of my favorite things about this podcast is that I'm still learning. I'm still learning the city, and we get to have all of these incredible experts that not only tell stories, but tell us all the great ways to love and live in the city.
Yeah. And I hope our listeners were inspired to do more for Black History Month.
Yeah, exactly. Just an incredible wealth of information. And you know who else is a wealth of information?
Who?
Our very own Joni and Fabiola from our team, who do our, I think, the most popular part of the show, Let's Chicago.
So let's have them on.
This is Let's Chicago, the segment of the episode where we talk about things to do in Chicago right now and over the next 2 weeks. I'm Joni.
And I'm Fabiola. We're going to be pulling from our blogs, from our events page, over at choosechicago.com to keep you updated for things to do.
Yeah, so because it's February, we're going to talk about Black History Month. I have 4 Black-owned businesses to support this month and all year, really.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to start it off with Buddy Guy's Legends, Blues Club in the South Loop, iconic destination owned by an iconic blues musician, Chicagoan. I actually saw him in January during his annual residency there.
Wow.
And he's been doing that January residency for a long time. He's been in Chicago for almost 70 years. So to see him live shredding at 89 years old.
Wow. The original sinner right there.
Yes. It is an iconic Chicago blues experience.
Mm-hmm.
And even when he's not there, perfect evening to see some Chicago blues.
For sure.
Yes. Another Black-owned business I want to call out is Justice of the Pies.
Yes.
Yes, that is in the Avalon neighborhood in the south side of Chicago. Chef Maya Camille Broussard owns that establishment. She was inspired by her late father, who was self-described as the Pie Master.
I love Pie Master.
I'm obsessed with Pie Master. She was actually on the Netflix show Bake Squad. That's how I'm familiar with her.
Okay.
And now I have her cookbook. I've made the quiche from it, so it's not just sweet pies. She has sweet and savory. Everything's good. You know it's going to be good.
Love that.
Speaking of great food, Lexington Betty's Smokehouse in Pullman.
Yes. So good.
We've been here.
Yes, we have.
Yes, got some brisket pulled pork. So good. It's right next to the Pullman National Historic Park.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make a whole kind of day of it in Pullman. But Chef Dominique Leach is one of the city's greatest pitmasters.
Yeah.
Barbecue expert. She's been on the Food Network. She's been on Chopped.
Love Chopped.
Love Chopped. She was a winner of a barbecue show in 2023 on the Food Network. So like international renowned, right there in Pullman.
Right. And she's so great. She was a First Bites Bash host a few years ago and lovely person. Awesome.
Yes, she's amazing.
Oh, and we got a pitmaster and a pie master on this show. Okay, I love it.
Oh, yes. The perfect dinner and a dessert all in one. Then the last Black-owned business I want to talk about, something that is very, very our speed.
Yes.
Up our alley.
Mm-hmm.
Vintage Frills in Logan Square.
Oh, yes. I love this. This place out, even on the outside, is really cute.
Yes. It is a vintage shop on North Milwaukee Avenue. Vintage clothes, dresses, accessories. You need to kind of put the whole outfit together, obviously. What I love about this spot is it's organized by color.
Oh, yes.
So if you know your colors, like I do.
Mm-hmm.
You do.
Yep.
I'm going right to the orange room.
I'm going to purple.
And then I'll meet you over in yellow.
Yes.
So we can get our outfits there and then go to these other Black-owned businesses. Yeah. And those are my 4 Black-owned business recs for the month and beyond in Chicago.
Love it. Okay, so excited. A little snippet. Joni and I are going to be going to a Black-owned restaurant here soon, Southern Chicago. Really excited about that.
In the South Loop. So good.
So good. All right. So that is all Black History Month. I'm going to be covering things to do, winter activities. My top 4 things. First, we got to start off pretty strong. Fly Heli Chicago tours. Oh my gosh. Okay. So these are helicopter tours. They start over on the west side and go over above the skyline. I did this about a month ago and I still feel like I am coming down. It is breathtaking. And the entire time you're mic'd up to the pilot, which is really cool because, you know, you're above, you know, thousands of feet, but you're also getting feedback of like, oh, and there's this and this is what we do.
Super cool.
So really informative. We were able to have a few people in the helicopter and it felt really spacious, roomy. It was really cool.
Your videos looked like a movie. Like I can't believe
it felt like it.
Have that on your phone. It's so cool.
Speaking of flying through the air, my second option here is get a group trapeze. It's over in Uptown. So I know they offer, you know, outdoor, sessions during the summertime, but in the wintertime, this is a circus school. Again, variety of classes. They've got silks, trampoline, trapeze acrobats, all of the fun stuff about like being in a circus. I've not gone, but I know Joni's gone. I mean, it seemed really cool.
Yes, I did the trapeze class. My sister and I did it. No circus experience, but we got right up in there. The instructors were so great. We were literally flying on the trapeze, doing like backflips off onto the net. It felt super safe, super educational. Such a cool offering in Chicago to have a circus school teaching you how to do that stuff.
Fun. And if flying is not your speed, there is also the kiln floating sauna at Navy Pier. This is experience where you have a sauna kind of floating at the pier where you can do kind of a hot and cold plunge. So I think that's really cool. I know a lot of people are super into that, and to have like the skyline behind is very lovely. Pro tip: if you're doing this on Valentine's Day, there will be fireworks at the pier. So you get to do an activity and then watch a little show.
Oh, love.
Last thing is the auto show over in McCormick Place. It is the oldest and longest here in the country. So cool. And I think a lot of times people think like, oh, I have to know a lot about cars to go to this. There's a lot to do there. I mean, I know there's like an indoor driving test. There's an outdoor. For me specifically, there's going to be a Subaru like puppy adoption area where they're going to bring in puppies. Who doesn't love puppies? So I
no one.
That's really cool. I know they have like a showroom too with all like the really cool fancy cars, which I love looking at. Rolls Royce, Lamborghini. So those are kind of my options there. And if you want to hear any more, please again visit choosechicago.com. Visit our blogs, our events. We never are running out of things to do.
Yeah. And of course, stay up to date on our social media channels. Follow us at Choose Chicago and at All for the Love of Chicago.
I love always hearing what those ladies have up their sleeve for what we should be doing and experiencing in Chicago. So thank you. Lisa, another great episode in the books.
And I am so excited for our next one. It's huge.
It's the big one. St. Patty's Day.
The best holiday. Chicagoans really know how to celebrate St. Patty's Day. So we're going to bring you the best things to do, things you didn't know, and the classics that every Chicagoan knows about.
Exactly. So we're going to bring you all the inside scoop and what you need to know about St. Patrick's Day. So we'll see you next time.
That's a wrap on this episode of All for the Love of Chicago. Thank you for joining us and sticking around to the end. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your podcast streaming platform of choice, and visit our YouTube channel to watch each episode. Follow Choose Chicago and All for the Love of Chicago on all the social channels. Let us know what you want to hear about in the show comments. You can visit choosechicago.com to find details on concerts, festivals, and events and performances of every kind all year round. Our producers are Lisa Nucci and me, Stephen Crano from Choose Chicago. Our theme music is by Blake Daniels. Want to share your All for the Love of Chicago story? Post a video and tag us on social. Don't forget to use the hashtag All for the Love of Chicago. We might just feature it on our accounts. See you next time.